I took a ride along the Hudson River, and this was an especially beautiful 2 hours, really. And because I started the ride shortly after dawn, which would be, I think the sun comes up around 7 a.m. and it took until 9 o'clock to cover the full length of Metro North from Poughkeepsie to Grand Central. And especially in the early hours in the upper areas of the river, everything was covered with this golden reddish light, and the windows looking like crystals. It's really beautiful. It's unfortunate that so many ugly industrial installations have been done, and I'm excluding those from the video. This is one of the islands in the Hudson. There are several of them. In fact, Manhattan itself is an island, and as you shall see, the East River is really a branch of the Hudson River. Manhattan is just an island within the Hudson. They did some terrible civil engineering to redirect the flow of water. They actually cut Marble Hill from the tip of Manhattan off of the island. The jurisdiction is still Manhattan, but the original waterway was actually filled up. Check out this castle. This is an old castle that's completely decomposed, and it is just a skeleton now. But somebody used to be living there in utter luxury some decades ago. And then there are these high hills on the west side of the river. Absolutely beautiful, not very built in, although there are roads. Sometimes you can see cars moving, and you can see an incision on the side of the hill. I don't know if you cannot buy real estate. Maybe this is a protected area. I don't know about that. But if I ever did a ride on the 9W from either Beacon or Poughkeepsie, I would probably end up having to go either onto or around these mountains. And I've been thinking about this ride for a long time, but I have never done it. I have done one ride from Poughkeepsie trying to get all the way down to the city, but I started a little late and it was early afternoon. I only got as far as Tarrytown, and it was a pretty exhausting ride. The full ride, if you wanted to follow the greenways from Poughkeepsie to Manhattan, would be close to 80 miles. And this is another bridge. I forgot which one this is. This has to be near Peekskill. This whole area is. And the river sometimes gets really wide. Other times there is an island where it gets narrow. So it's really hard to look at it as in a uniform way. For example, the Tappan Zee was named after the Tappan Indians, and it was called as a CZ in Dutch because the Dutch saw the Indians or came across them, and they saw this extreme widening of the river. And this is the Tappan Zee Bridge, which Como renamed after his father. I was hoping that the new governor would change the name back to Tappan Zee, but they have not. And in the lower Hudson, you can see that there was an ice age here, and there was a glacier coming down. You don't see that further up, so it was only at the very bottom. And this is the area where the federal government re-engineered the flow of the river. It would have gone up there, and you see some islands here as well. It was really slow flowing, and they wanted to widen it for commercial shipping. And this is all artificially cut. You can see it. You can see the walls. They just cut through the stone, which in some cases was marble. And what I heard was that at least some of that marble, most of the marble is probably gone now, but some of it was used for either the White House or the Capitol building or a variety of structures in DC. And this is already the East River. I must say the upper part of Manhattan could use a facelift. I like the tower, but these ugly highways and this graffiti and the garbage all over the place, this part of the city needs a good fix. This is the west side of it. This is the George Washington Bridge, a place I call Manhattan Beach. I don't know if there's a name for it, but you could actually go in and swim. There is even a little bit of sand, and the views are spectacular. I'm sure many developers would like to buy that piece of land, but fortunately the city is holding on to it for now. And this is the view right next to the George Washington Bridge. Looking at the Jersey side, there are some high-rises, luxury high-rises on the Jersey side where you can rent for plenty of money to stare at Manhattan from the upper floors.